Bunch Tight End has taken over College Football 26, and in this video, I'm going to be breaking down a complete guide to the formation, everything that you need to know about how to optimize this formation to have success. Now, if you're looking to take your college football game to the next level, make sure that you join our school community. It's only $10. It's going to get you access to all of my full offensive and defensive ebooks, as well as exclusive tips that we don't share publicly that gives you the knowledge that you need to be able to win more games in College Football 26. If you want to sign up for that, the link is going to be down in the description. Now, as I said today, I'm going to be talking about the bunch tight end formation. I actually just dropped a full ebook on this in our school community. And this is going to be out of the Tulane offensive playbook. Now, as far as how you want to set up this formation, in my personal opinion, what I like to do with this offense is I like to put this little dude here, Clifford, in the slot receiver position. And then we're pretty much good to go with Penn State. You could really just put whoever you want in terms of like whatever your team calls for. I just think your best route runner should be your slot receiver in this offense. That being said, we're going to be coming out in the play bunch tight end verticals, and we are going to actually come out in this formation with our bunch to the short side. The reason we're going to come out in our formation with our bunch to the short side is, number one, when you flip the formation in this year's game, you can get all kinds of different hot routes on different players and kind of do different things like that. The other thing about this is that one of the main reasons that this formation is so dang good is because you have this RPO bubble, and this RPO bubble is really good to the short side. So we want to be able to kind of maximize the power of the RPO bubble every single time. Another thing that I like to do with this little formation here is, again, when I come out with my bunch to the short side, one of the best little tips I have for you is you're going to get a faster kind of handoff / throwing animation when you call this with your running back on the side of the quarterback's throwing arm. So for example here, my quarterback is right-handed. So if I hand the ball, if I have the running back on the right side, you're going to see that I'm going to give him a much faster throw animation to be able to get this bubble screen out. So kind of use that for what it is. And if you wanted to, you can run this with your bunch to the wide side and you're still going to have success. I just think overall that bubble screen is really good, specifically to the short side, which is why, I like to come out short side and then flip into whatever it is that I'm going to run. Now, for the remainder of this video, just to kind of save us some time, I'm going to be showing you different route combinations flipped, but I'm also going to real quickly just cover one of the other little things that I think makes this really good, and that is that it's really good against the double mug defense, which is the most popular defense that you're going to see in College Football 26. One of the reasons why is because this halfback off tackle run normally does a really good job of being able to kind of pop this defense, as you can see here. So if I get a double mug look, then I can do things like run the bubble screen, as I accidentally call my play action play here. I can do things like run the bubble screen. I can do things like just run the ball and have a lot of success against double mug. I mean, this bubble screen, as you see right here, even though we called it to the wide side, still having a lot of success in terms of its ability to attack double mug. Another thing that's really good about this, if we talk about how it kind of attacks the double mug meta, is when you motion receivers here from left to right. So when you motion a receiver from left to right, we'll just set up a quick protection for the mid blitz aspect. If you put the slot receiver here on a corner, you can motion this guy across the formation. What that's going to do is you can get a kind of inside separation and have a lot of potential here for this corner route to be able to attack man coverage. Shout out to the red passes in practice mode. Just one of the greatest things that they've ever done in college football is basically say, okay, quarterbacks, you just can't make any throw in practice mode. But anyway, we're going to show you here real quick. Let me actually press up this mid blitz. And while the corner route's not going to win every single time, when it wins, it like actually fries. And then you also have this backside, kind of slant or whatever you want to do. You see there, he gets over the top. And you see how we can really isolate that side. Now, another thing that a lot of people like to do out of mid blitz, out of double mug, is they like to create different types of zone looks. So it might, for example, be something like this right here. As you see, I just created a hybrid coverage, a zone look. And if we do that same thing that I just showed you, where we're using the motion from bunch tight end, this is more just a bunch tight end thing in general. But what happens is you're going to see that outside third follows him across the field, and it's going to be hard for the opponent to adjust and fix that because there's no baseline in this game. And so this is just another way in which we can kind of almost force them to have to stay in a man coverage, which is then going to allow us to manipulate man coverage at large. For example, easy ways that you can manipulate man coverage in this scheme is with this inside bunch receiver. So as you see here, this inside bunch receiver is unbumpable. So if we know that they're going to probably have to be in man coverage, one of the easiest things to do is to run a play like this. And the reason why this is a really good play is because this crosser is going to be unbumpable. If they are in man coverage on him, he's going to just consistently get separation against the man coverage defender pretty much every single time. So again, we'll just show that. And again, we'll just, for the purpose of the video here, I am just going to put these guys in underneath zones just so we don't get any crazy practice mode sheds. But you will see, and you are setting up like a legitimate protection here. So you can set up whatever protection it is that you want, but you're only sitting 4 out, but as you see here, I mean, he's just getting wide open. If our quarterback could make a throw, that would just be awesome. So another thing that happens in mid blitz that I think is really good too is a lot of times they want to use the safety. As you see here, we get them kind of completely misaligned. Why this is also good is in case, again, we motion anybody from the bunch side, it just kind of messes up the mid blitz. And so they're just misaligned. They're going to struggle to defend this. This is a very, very easy offense to be able to attack double mug. We'll see if we can actually throw our crosser here and catch it. And we are able to. So as you see right there, I mean, that just gives you a very simple way to be able to attack man coverage. Another one of my favorite ways to attack man coverage, this time I'll actually leave the blitz. As you see here, like if they're using this guy, they have to man this guy up here, and then they have to kind of be over here. And, they're just in a ton of issues, right? So what I like to do, another little thing that I think is decent against the double mug meta is motion blocking. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag our tight end, we're going to wheel our running back, and kind of put their user in a bind here. And then on this left-hand side, we're going to use a speed out, a corner route to this inside bunch receiver, because remember, he can't get pressed. So now all we're going to do is we're going to motion the receiver over. Now this is really important. When you motion this receiver over, when he gets to the offensive line, you can actually block him in this year's game. So he's going to motion over, and then you're going to see here, I'm going to hot rod him to block, and you see he's going to block. And then that leaves that guy open. Now, you have to actually set up a pass pro that is going to be really, really good against this, which, in my opinion, I think one of the best ways to block if you are going to run it like this is to go ahead and actually half slide, because we're planning to motion block this guy. So you'll see here, hopefully we'll actually be able to show it. So you see kind of this is, and again, let's actually go base protection first and then let's half slide just so it looks right. So you see we're half sliding, or did I full slide? I might have full slide. Did I not? I don't think I did. I half slide. I don't know why it's kind of showing wrong. Anyways, you can snap this guy kind of in here like this, and then you see how that corner route, can potentially get separation. Now, if you find that corner route is not getting you consistent separation against mid blitz, that is one of the things about this game that we kind of have to know is like man coverage beaters is kind of inconsistent this year. Like there's just not a lot of like rhyme or reason to it, in my opinion. So what you can also do though is put him on a stem down speed out, which I think is also really good. And you could run the play, you could now run the play like with the tight end on a backside crosser. And then you can motion block this guy. Now, again, when we motion block this guy, you can also motion block him on the outside, but you can also snap the ball like when he's right here. And you see how clean that speed out is. That speed out is going to just fry cover zero. So it's another way that you can kind of really pop cover zero. And the thing about double mug is they can't really get out there. Like even if they put these guys in flat zones, which is something that people will do, if they put those guys in flat zones here, you're just going to see that, this is just not, which I'll just motion this guy back here. Snap. Nope, I can't. Okay. Motion back. Okay. They're just not going to let me snap the ball. That's just awesome. But basically here, what you'll see if the game will let us snap the ball is this speed out, which I just want to show this one route. Even though there's a hard flat there, he's not going to guard him. as you see, he just can't get out there. And so because he can't get out there, it really allows us to just out leverage the double mug meta really, really well. So what most people do when they play bunch tight end is they get into some other stuff, right? They get into dime rush, they get into nickel single mug, which those are all basically zone defenses, where they're going to try to basically just play you in zone. And this is where bunch tight end also just makes offense extremely, extremely easy. So why it makes this easy is because we can just simply high-low different defenders based off of, kind of tendency of our opponent. So for example here, this play out of a cover 4 drop, pretty standard coverage, cover 4 hard flat. You're going to see that this crosser, the tight end streak is going to get a nice clear out, and you can just throw this crosser. What's really nice in college football is these hash marks, and because of these hash marks, this tight end is going to be able to clear out way more zone than he would if we were playing in Madden, for example. Okay, so as you saw right there, able to pop cover 4 hard flat, able to pop cover 3 as well. So if they do want to run a cover 3 coverage, again, in the setup that I'm doing, I'm just streaking the tight end, dragging and return routing these guys like that. But what you're going to see here is, as you see, boom, easy read over the top on that right-hand side. So cover 3, cover 4 is basically the same read there that you're going to make. Cover 2, the cloud can sometimes drift back, but normally that cloud flat is not going to get enough depth unless they zone drop him to be able to defend him. If the cloud flat does get enough depth to defend him, then you can just check it down to your drag on the right sideline here. So again, streak. Notice how open that drag route is. Like, that's just an easy read right there. And again, that's what we talk about, like high-low. Passing in general, you always want to have, in my opinion, you always want to have a high-low read that is typically based around man-beating routes, but then the way that you kind of format them within a zone is you want them to beat man just based off the route, but then you want them to beat zone based off of you putting defenders in conflict and having some type of high-low read. And I think this is one of the easiest ones that there is. Now, if they were to run a man coverage on this play, we talked about it a little bit a minute ago, but this play is pretty equipped to be able to handle man coverage. You have a drag, you have a return route. Both can win. They don't always win. Both can win. But then you have this crosser, and this crosser pretty much is going to win the majority of the time. As you see right there, just gets a nice, kind of, because they can't press him, where they're going to have a hard time pressing him in most defenses. So anyway, that's one of my favorite plays in this formation. I think it's one of the best plays in the formation. And then the other one is we can just now start to, the other thing that's really cool about bunch tight end is it's very easy for you to flood the bunch side in this game. Like, they actually, just because of the slot fade alone, they made bunch formation so much better because these slot fades do such a good job of being able to flood any zone. So we're just going to corner out the inside bunch receivers, stem them all the way down, streak the slot, and then we can drag and Texas on a backside. If you want to send 4 out, you can just run it like this as well. But if you want to send 5 out, I love either the running back post or the running back Texas, depending a little bit on how much time you think you're going to have. I do think the Texas is a little bit better overall. And then really what we're looking for is we're just looking for this high-low read on the left side. As you see, that cover 4 is going to get cleared out by that slot fade, and then your stem down corner is going to be able to just get open very easily against that coverage. Same basic thing is going to happen here against a cover 3 shell. If they run a cover 3 base defense, then it's basically the same. You're going to see here that we can throw the seam streak a little bit, but you really just get that clean clear out. And I mean, you just see how open that receiver is. They're going to have to switch stick over there to guard that. Really, and honestly, it's kind of difficult for them to even do that. Now, if they run cover 2, one of the cool things about this year's game with slot fades is the mid-read will kind of look like he's going to guard the slot streak, but he's probably going to just kind of stay in no man's land here. So let's see if we can hit this. He actually stays up, and if he does stay up like that, we can just playmaker that running back Texas route up, as you see. And the way you playmaker in this game is you're going to hold left trigger, and you're going to flick the right flick up on the stick, and then he will be able to be playmakered. One of the other things that's really good, it doesn't matter if it's cover 3 cloud, it doesn't matter if it's cover 2. But one of the other things that's really good about this flood combination here is you're going to see on this left-hand side that slot fade will clear out a third, a quarter, a half, which is, again, it's just why the slot fades are so good, because those slot fades in this year's game, they clear every single thing out. Like that is what makes them, I think, so powerful, and it's really what's going to make Bunch a really good offense for the majority of this year, in my opinion, is because you can actually clear out pretty much any zone now from a compression set with a slot fade, and then as you see, that is part of the reason compression is so good is that it gives the receivers a lot more space to be able to run when we're talking about corner routes, crossing routes, and things like that. So there's just so much more space, especially in college. I mean, look at all that space on the left side that we have. And again, you're just going to see, watch this corner route, and you see like the cloud's there, but then he's just going to run right by him. Obviously, quarterback's got to make the throw, but he's right there. Now, the only thing that they can realistically do in terms of a zone approach to trying to defend this play is they can soft squat this outside corner or just try to get him to man up or switch stick to him. Those are kind of the three-ish options that they have in terms of being able to defend this. You're going to see here that the soft squat will actually match the slot fade, which is crazy. And again, it's just another nod to why you need to be using slot fades to clear out zone. But the slot fade oftentimes matches him. So then now we're realistically just talking about switch sticks. So if they switch stick to the outside corner, or if they switch stick to really anybody on the right side, there's kind of two options. The first one is you can hit that playmaker running back route. The second one is you can hit the tight end. So you just work this backside check down, and I love this backside tight end. It just kind of completes the flood, if you will, because it's a flat route, essentially, effectively how the route actually works. So that is just a universal zone beater, pretty much all done with hot routes, and very, very effective. Now, another thing that they have in this playbook is they have a cheat motion play out of motion PA cross switch. All you're going to do with this is you're just kind of calling this primarily for this cheat motion. But basically, you're just going to flat the running back. You're going to drag the slot, post the outside bunch receiver, and streak the tight end. The reason I like this play is it's going to give me a high-low read, but it really just does a great job of kind of putting a lot of routes on the right side of the field to force them to have a lot of zones on the right side of the field. When you're attacking zone, it really comes down to they can only put so many zones in so many spots. And so if you are just attacking them in different spots, it's going to be very effective. So as you see here, I've got my tight end streak off rip. I've got my cheat motion, but really the route that I love is that backside drag in kind of that soft spot of the defense. That running back's going to clear it out really nicely, and then you're going to be able to throw that backside drag consistently against pretty much every zone in the game. It's hard for them to guard, kind of that side because they're going to be so used to putting stuff on the left. Now, I'll have some other plays that are going to come back left side here in just a minute. But if you take a look here, let's say that the user kind of sits down on that, then we have that high read with that post route. Very, very simple combo. The other thing that a lot of people like to do against a bunch tight end type of offense is they love to cover two this right-hand side. And this is going to do a really good job of being able to attack cover two. So what you're going to do is if you do get any kind of cover two here, you're just going to hit this kind of sideline cheat wheel. Make sure your possession catching that just to kind of make it a little bit more consistent for you. It's going to be very good for attacking, any kind of cover two. Another thing that we're able to do within this, which is kind of an interesting thing, is you're actually able to flip the strength of your formation. So when we start out with this, our strength of our formation is obviously our three receivers to the left. But when we run this auto motion, we are now flipping the strength and we're putting that strength on the right side. So what we're able to do with kind of a secondary combo here is we're going to streak that slot receiver. We're going to use a stem down corner on the outside bunch receiver. And then on the right side here, you can kind of do it however you want to. I think one of the best methods is a kind of a running back Texas with you can use two streaks. Or if you wanted to, you could run it like this as well. Those are a couple different options. You could also run a running back streak on the right side. Again, just kind of up to you how you want to run it. But what's nice about this is let's talk about cover two. So against cover two, you're going to see here that this running back kind of gets into a really interesting position against a lot of the defenses and things that they want to do on that side. The other thing is if they're running any kind of zone, even if they're running like cover four drop with hard flats on that left side, even though we're not technically using a slot fade here, we're using a slot streak, what we're able to get out of this play is we're able to get this left side corner route still is going to be able to attack that cover four because we stem him all the way down. As you saw right there, it's a little bit better played by the quarter, but it's not going to be wholesale stopped, and you're going to be able to consistently hit that read against that defense. Now, another thing that's really cool about bunch tight end, which you can't really say this for a lot of the bunch formations in this game, is it actually comes equipped with very easy tools to be able to attack match coverage. So if you want to attack, that's just basic cover four quarters here. But if you want to be able to attack this coverage, really all you have to do is you are just going to run this combo. It's one of my favorite universal beaters for match. And what it is we're going to slot fade this slot receiver. We're going to streak the inside bunch receiver, and then we're going to corner out this left side. And then the big key here is a drag on the tight end. You can run the play just like this. That's all you really have to do. I love to put the Texas route if you can. If you need to block, you need to block. But what happens against match coverage is you're going to see here that quarter is gonna basically like kind of bite on the tight end, and then you're gonna be able to hit this streak. Sometimes they actually play this crazy in practice mode, crazier than they will in a game. But you'll see. Let's see if we can actually get a better throw. Like this corner for Georgia is just running like an absolute dog here. We do have some other stuff open, which I'll cover in just a minute. But let me just wheel the running back. This might help kind of hold him. It didn't help hold him at all. But you see how he gets a step on him. And again, it's kind of a speed thing. The Georgia corners are super fast. So that is what it is. It's kind of this, if you have similar speed ratings, this will be a little bit better. Also, let's say that they are, let's say that they're like actually like baseline, or this guy's a little bit more out in this area. You're going to see it's just a little bit better. So the concept is super good though, because you're going to be able to just get that corner has to run all the way across the field to be able to guard him. And you see how there's that little window right there. So again, they have a super fast corner that can cover that kind of ground. That's crazy. But some people do have that. Another thing that you could actually do that could probably get this to pop the cover four is you could run the play like this as well. So again, this just gets the streak on the slot. And let's see if we can kind of get that one. As you see, gets a little bit more open. My slot's like 80 speed, but that's another little way that you can kind of get the guy to get upfield a little quicker is really the main thing we're trying to accomplish here. Let's see here. And there you see kind of the idea in terms of how you're capable of attacking the bunch side with a beater against match. So that's one of my favorite methods for attacking match coverage. Normally I run it just like this. I think this is the best way. Whoops. Because the other thing about this is you're going to see here that the corner route, while you might think, like the whole purpose of calling match, if you really think about it, is to stop a corner route to the bunch side. Like that's one of the whole purposes. What's really cool about this slot fade, as I keep coming back to them, they can't really stop it with a slot fade. So you're going to see the slot fade is going to pull that outside quarter, and you can actually throw that before that quarter can react to the defender over there. So it's another kind of way and method that we can attack match coverage in a variety of different ways within the formation. So a couple other plays that I really like out of the bunch tight end. Kind of the next one that I just think, and again, most of these are pretty universal. Like you could just kind of create them out of whatever. This play, where's that? If I can find it here, spacing. Doesn't have to be spacing. The main reason we're calling it is for the two flat routes on the play, because you can't hot route flat routes anymore. But basically what I like to do on this is we have a running back flat. This running back flat is a pretty decent flat route. And all you're going to do is you're just going to essentially start to kind of pepper. So what I like to do is slant the slot receiver, streak the tight end. Looks kind of like a basic combo, but against hard flats out of a cover four or anything, you're going to see, watch where the slant kind of gets to. Kind of a really nice soft spot. Now, the thing they're going to have to do on that right side is they're going to have to cover to that right side. But the problem is we have a good table route, And so you can just throw this upfield and get, easy yardage that way. Another way that I like to run this play is to utilize a kind of tight end corner and then a running back streak. And then on the left side, you could pretty much just leave this as is. It's kind of a unique little play here. But what it's good for is, kind of getting that running back into that seam area of the field, especially against any kind of cover four, hard flat type of coverage. And then you have the tight end on that right sideline as well. So some ways that you can kind of attack really with just a couple, real simple basic combos. Another thing we forgot to talk about is the kind of freestyle bunch tight end. So if you want to freestyle out of this a little bit, you can actually you just have all the routes you need in your hot route tree. And so you could just run something like this, put the crosser on the slot receiver now, and you'll see here, it's not as good as the PA Verticals one, but it is pretty good. It's good enough to, as you see right there, just kind of be effective for you. Another thing that we have within this is the ability to create, again, just kind of basic stuff. So what I like to do here is a speed out stemmed all the way down on the outside bunch receiver. We're then going to zig this inside bunch receiver. We're going to drag the slot, and then we're going to have a tight end on a, stemmed up in route like this. Now, why would we call this play, and what is this play good for? The main reason why you would want to call this play is if they're running a lot of cover four on the bunch side and they don't have a yellow zone. So maybe they're sending like four. It's one of the best ways to beat the blitz in this game because the user is going to guard this drag. And so it just leaves this little pocket right here for this zig. And again, I know it's a fairly basic play, but it's by far, in a way, like one of the best ways to attack zone out of this. It's just such a good way to beat zone coverage. You have to call that play some, just because it gets into this little pocket that's hard to guard. Even if they have like a yellow zone there, the yellow zone doesn't really always guard it because there's so much space on the left side for that zig, and you have that little out route. Like you can just wait on this a little bit, and you see, that's a yellow zone, and he can't guard it. So, it just gives you a lot of ways to be able to attack the defense, right? Another simple one is this. This one's a little bit more of a man beater specifically, but this little hitch is pretty good. You'll see how it kind of holds that yellow, and then that tight end is going to kind of wrap around there. Obviously, the hook curl should go to this slant, but he didn't right there. He actually rose up with the tight end. Okay, we can take our slant, right? And then if the user sits down on the slant, then the tight end is going to be a little bit more open. You're going to see here, yellow zone kind of sits down. You see I can just throw through things, within this. So this offense just gives you a lot of different ways in which to attack a lot of defenses. I'm going to give you one of my favorite red zone plays down here, and kind of a cool one. So what a lot of people do in the red zone is they run cover two. Like a lot of people run cover two, and they run a lot of different variations of it. But this play, motion PA cross switch, what makes this so good is we're just going to curl the tight end. We're going to curl the slot receiver, and then you can drag this backside guy and flat the running back like that. And I know it looks a little weird, but what makes it so good is the fact that if you watch this cloud flat, he's going to go to the middle of the field, and you can just throw this as a quick throw to the right side every single time. Now, that was a cloud flat, right? What about a hard flat? Well, the hard flat, what's the hard flat's responsibility? Well, the hard flat is either going to play the running back or he's going to play the middle of the field, but there's no way that the hard flat should play this cheat wheel. So you're going to see here, hard flat, kind of lets him go, and then he's wide open in that backside. Let me actually show a little bit better of an example of that. I didn't get a great pass lead. But this is just becoming one of my favorite plays down here in the red zone. And obviously you have all the run plays. You have all of those things, but you see here, back corner, really nice route to be able to attack. Now, the other thing about this is you have these curls. So realistically, like what could they realistically do here, right? Honestly, the main thing is they're going to hard flat and they're going to curl flat. That's going to be the main thing they could realistically do. That's going to give them the best chance. Excuse me. And so what you're going to see here is if we run this play, see if we can throw this Still can't quite throw it, but I can high point these curls, and these high point curls in the red zone are really good. The other thing that I can do, again, this is just assuming the adjustments. These are pretty advanced adjustments too, by the way. But if they run those two adjustments over there on the right side, then this yellow zone is going to get pulled back the by the curl, right? So what that is going to then give up is it's going to give up the backside drag. So, again, it's kind of one of those things where they're kind of picking their poison. And obviously, the first couple times you run this, they're probably not even going to realize what just happened to them, right? But now they're adjusting. They get that guy right there. But now you have that guy coming wide open on a left-hand side. So, to me, this is just one of the easiest ways to attack down here. Another real underrated one that's kind of using the same principle here is we're just going to run the zig and the speed out, just like that on the left. But then on the right side, maybe we're running, even if we're running like a crosser, right? This makes a lot of sense. And you'll see here, okay, we're going to put a lot of stress on the right side, Now, the best way, as you saw right there, that's kind of the best way to stop it, which is to not run cover 2. So to run cover 4 or to run any of those other coverages. The problem is if they run any of those other coverages, now they're, which I forgot to actually show this, they're really susceptible to this drag. So you're going to see these drags are these curls. So they all run out there, right? But now our curl, I think our tight end curl is actually more open. But our curls become a problem. And again, this is all, we're trying to kind of guess what they're going to do with their user. Most of the time, they're going to use the drag because they kind of have to. And so if they do that, though, you see there's that window right there on the right side to hit this. Let me just shade underneath. And again, most people are not going to run cover 4 in the red zone. And if they do, there's so many other ways to manipulate cover 4 down here. And I can actually show that. But you'll see I'm getting just yelled at by a Sen 3. That's just awesome. Show it one more time here. All right, so okay. I don't know how I'm getting yelled at on a Sen 3. But anyway, right there in that little pocket. And that's because of that running back flat route kind of pulling out. You've got that little pocket right there to throw that. Now, what if, right? Play the what if game. What if the user takes that receiver? What if they adjust and the user takes that receiver, right? Well, glad you asked that. That's the whole point of the curl. That's the whole point of the curl. You're going to see here, if the user runs away from it, then these curls will get open. Will get open in kind of a soft spot. So the other thing, real quick, just so we're on the same page, you want to manipulate cover 4. Here's all you need to do. Go back to that speed out setup like this. Oops. You're going to see here that speed out can just pop cover 4. And another way to kind of get to it is we can motion this guy out just a little bit like that. And if they're in cover 4, I'm going to shade down here. You'll see just passing that hard to the left side, and it just kind of gets in the soft spot. Another thing that's a really good combo for, if they're running cover 4 or anything like that, is a short cross on, like, for example, like this guy. So you could run like this is just a good old combo right here. And what happens with this short cross is I'll just take the running back, motion him out, and I'm going to put him on a curl, stem him down. Actually, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put the tight end on the hitch. Just put that tight end there. All right, running backs in here. I just snap it. Nope, I can't. I'm just going to block him. Okay. So anyway, see how that short cross kind of just out leverages him to the sideline? So those are just some really good red zone plays. Now, by the way, guess what else we could do in the red zone? We could run the ball. We run the ball. We have one of the best ways to run the ball in the game. And so I would definitely advertise taking advantage of that. But that is a breakdown of the bunch tight end offense. If you want to get my full ebook on this, it really dives into detail into everything even more so than this video did. You can get that by joining our school community. It's only $10. And the cool part about it is it gets you access to not just the bunch tight end, but it gets you access to all of my offensive and defensive ebooks for both Madden and for college football. To sign up, hit the link in the description below.